Good evening. It is now 6:30 and time for the Board of Library Trustees regular meeting to begin. Today is Tuesday, April 21st, 2026. And we will note the time is 6:30. And call to order and roll call. Tonight, may we have a roll call, Vice President Cox, please.
Trustee Biederman?
Here.
Trustee Cox is here. Trustee DiLorenzo is absent. Trustee Fishman?
Here.
Trustee Moment?
Here.
Trustee Pasco?
Here.
And Trustee Senate?
Here. Thank you. And now I would like to appoint Trustee Cox, Vice President Cox, to be our Secretary Pro Tem for this evening. Is there a motion, please?
I move to appoint Trustee Cox as Secretary Pro Tem for this meeting.
Thank you, Trustee Senate. And a second, please?
I second.
That was Trustee Moment. Thank you. Trustee Cox, may we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Biederman?
Here.
Or,
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Trustee
Roll.
Cox, yes. Trustee DiLorenzo is absent. Trustee Moment?
Yes.
Trustee Pasco?
Yes.
Trustee Senate?
Yes.
And Trustee Fishman?
Yes. Thank you. Motion passed. We'll now move on to review of our draft minutes from March 25th, our last regular board meeting, 2026, our board meeting minutes. Give you a moment, and if there are any corrections or additions. Anyone? All right, seeing none. May we have a motion to approve the minutes from March 25th, 2026, please? Is there a motion?
I move approval of the March 25th, 2026 regular board meeting minutes as presented.
Thank you, Trustee Pasco. And is there a second, please?
Second such movement.
Thank you. A second by Trustee Biederman. And we will now have a roll call, please.
Trustee Biederman?
Yes.
Trustee Cox, yes. Trustee DiLorenzo is absent. Trustee Moment?
Yes.
Trustee Pasco?
Yes.
Trustee Senate?
Yes.
And Trustee Fishman?
Yes, thank you. The minutes for the March 25th, 2026 regular board meeting as presented is passed. Now move on to public comment. Do we have anyone who is attending and who is signed in with our visitor public comment registration form who would like to address the board? All right. Thank you. Moving on. Our next agenda item is presentations, but we have none. So we will now move on to our treasurer's report. Trustee Biederman, please.
Okay. I will summarize the March report as summarized by Sandra. Revenue-wise, we did receive in about $1.1 million in property taxes. We also received just about $65,000 from Kenilworth for their administrative services fees. We received about $3,000 in replacement taxes, $16,007 in general fund interest, and $16,500 in special reserve fund interest. As we've talked about before, we don't track expenses on a monthly basis. We do it on an annual basis. But compared to the budget, we don't do it on a monthly basis. However, we are 75% of the year through with the year, and our expenses are 70.4%. So it's pretty much, for those that we compare to the percentage of the year, it is just about where it should be. Notable exceptions are periodicals, computer equipment maintenance, and library vehicle expense. So, of course, it would be normal that vehicular expense does not come in on any straight line method, and same for computer and other equipment maintenance. That you can't track on a monthly basis because that does not come in any standard fashion. Special reserves expenses are $156,003, which is just about 63% of the annual projection. Some notable expenditures over $1,000, 4 expenses for Amazon, 1 for Overdrive. Computer View was $22,500. System management at $10,007. Insurance network at $86,000. And then payments from the special reserves, 1 for construction and 1 for library furniture. This excludes payroll, which is done on a straight line basis. The net income for March through year to date was a loss of $512, but that's understandable and expected, as we're expecting another property tax payments before the end of the year. So that would be understandable. We haven't seen a Fed interest rate change, and probably won't for a while, given current situation. So, unless there are any questions, that's the whole report. In summary.
Okay, thank you. I was just going to make a quick correction.
Yeah.
The largest payment's greater than 10,000.
Oh,
You
what did I
mentioned
say?
1,000.
Oh,
But it's 10,000.
10,000.
So.
okay. So corrected, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I had just 2 questions.
Mhm.
Remind me again, are the periodicals, does that also include the digital ones too, or just purely print?
Just the print.
Okay. And then what's the age of the vehicle, or
2020.
2020? Okay, thank you.
So is there an update on taxes, like the next round of payments? Are we back on track?
We're vaguely on track, I would say. It's difficult for us to actually see what the distributions are and even which tax year we're getting our distributions from. So the timing of the cycle has been a little bit challenging for us to keep track of those details, especially with the 2 distributions coming so close together, which I think is also affecting some taxpayers in making their payments. But we, as Trustee Biederman said, we are expecting to receive more from this first installment for 2025 this month, but I can't say where we're at.
I don't have a comparison for other counties or other libraries that receive public funding the same way. We're assuming that it's not as haphazard as we're seeing it now, and it's probably, unfortunately, probably have to expect it this way for some time to come.
At least for the near term. I will say that the county is taking steps to try to be more transparent about the distribution schedule. They recognize that some of their communications have been offline, and that they could do more to improve their communications. So while we have been a little critical of this here, and justly so, we do see that they are taking some strides to make some improvements. So we're cautiously optimistic, and they're getting a lot of pressure from a lot of our peer libraries who are not operating with a reserve like ours and are having more of a challenge making their payments month over month. So,
Do we expect to get the rest of what we should be getting before the end of the fiscal year? Or are we going to have some sort of interesting apportionment?
I mean, I expect it.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's how it will be, but I think, if they follow trend, we will end the year whole, which we historically have.
And when you say end the year, it's end of our fiscal year, June 30th.
Correct. Yeah.
Thank you, just to clarify. Good, thank
Mhm.
you. Thank you for your report. And any questions about bills and salaries check detail for Trustee Biederman? Or Director Austin? Okay, thank you. Then seeing none, may we have a motion to approve bills and salaries check detail for March 2026 as presented?
I move approval of the bills and salaries check detail for March 2026 as presented.
Thank
I
you.
second.
We have Trustee Mulman with the
Senate.
motion and Trustee Senate with our second. Thank you. May we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Biederman?
Yes.
Trustee Cox, yes. Trustee DiLorenzo is absent. Trustee Mulman?
Yes.
Trustee Pasco?
Yes?
Trustee Senate?
Yes.
And Trustee Fishman?
Yes, thank you. The approval of bills and salaries check detail for March 2026 as presented has passed. Thank you. Next agenda item is action items, and we have none. And so we'll move brief now to the director's report, please.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to try a little something different with the report this month and focus just on what's happening in the near term, because I've actually got a lot to talk about what's going on in the near term, and then we can take any questions that you have from the written report that's in the packet. So part of that is because this week is National Library Week. So it is always a holiday at the library to celebrate the library, but especially nationwide this week. Library advocates and library people around the nation are celebrating our nation's libraries. And if you are curious to see how we're doing that here at Wilmette Library, there's a lovely video that staff have made and have posted on our social media to the poem by Nikki Giovanni, A Library Is. And that illustrates how Wilmette Library is serving the community, and a number of our staff across all departments participated in reading a line out of that poem, and they really assemble nicely. So I would like this evening to invite everyone here and at home to think about the role of libraries in your life. What role has the library played in your life from childhood through adulthood? How have these institutions influenced and informed you and those around you? What is a library to you? We all have our own story about how libraries have impacted us, and especially, you have answered the call to service as elected officials here. The staff have all worked at this library for a purpose, for a reason. And I have some thoughts about that. These are the thoughts that I had when I was taking a bike ride this morning, and I thought that I would just share this with you. Libraries are centers of communities. They are literally situated in the geographic centers of our towns, schools, universities, corporations, and such. But they're also central in a sense of being core, of being essential. You can always go to the library, you are always welcome there, and they will know the answer. Those are just tenets that we can always take as truisms. Libraries are keepers of histories, sites of creativity and growth, places that bring us together to discover, learn, enjoy, explore, delight, marvel, experience, feel, and revel in all that is human and all that our curiosity can muster and ideate. We come together with others, or perhaps just to commune with our inner voices. Here we celebrate our community, our record of our hopes and achievements, what makes us uniquely our own, and what remains to be discovered and appreciated. Friends, neighbors, young and old, inventors, creators, problem solvers, teachers, students, artists, storytellers, researchers, hobbyists, the curious, the brave, the confused, everyone, we all gather here in our community garden to plant and be planted, to cultivate and grow and to flourish. And together we build and celebrate culture, be it art, language, poetry, stories, facts, news, history, film, music, dance, food, photography, fiber crafts, plastics, all that can be built with zeros and ones. These are the quilts and mosaics of our collective and individual experiences. Libraries bind us all. Here we complete great stories in bound volumes waiting to be read and considered. Here we explore across space and time. We travel the universe, our world, our towns, our own backyards, our private thoughts. our hopes for ourselves and others, we plan for the future. And while we do this, we will often take for granted the depth, the breadth, the quality, the quantity, the order, the intention, curation, assembly, presentation, expertise, the care, kindness, hope, and humility of library workers. Today is National Library Workers' Day, and we celebrate the many roles and people who are essential to ensuring the various and valued services of our nation's libraries. We're a proud but humble people, called by the profound sense of purpose behind the institutions we serve, yet generally unassuming and modest about the custody we hold over our significant responsibilities. Our professionals have invested many hours in our process and craft, years of study to hone our skills, and we exhibit a rare passion for growth and continuous learning that we're eager to ignite in others. Library staff exhibit wisdom, not necessarily knowing everything, but a little about everything, and the science to know how to find anything, and just the right thing, and what's right, and what's true, and what's one's own truth, and the difference and the variety of the in-between. And if you're curious, well, you're one of us too, and we're only too happy to show you the way. Because libraries collect and we share. By their very nature, this hoard is the bounty of all. Libraries are for everyone, and the systems that enable this, the idea that we should and can squirrel away a small piece for the whole to apply great care and untold benefit to all. Such a small investment for such an extraordinary return. That's what libraries are. With a simple contract to respect the space and to respect one another, the library welcomes everyone. In return, the library offers windows and mirrors and gateways to new worlds, real and imagined. This week and always, every library welcomes you and invites you to find your joy. There's a lovely blog on the front page of our website that is inviting you how to find your joy. We have an interactive board in our fiction room, and people are already populating this list with the ways in which they have been touched by the library and how they find their joy here. And I would like to encourage all of you to think a little bit about how this library has transformed your life, the lives of your family, your friends, and of this community, and what it represents in our culture broadly. So, to talk a little bit more about that, let's just look at what happens at the library this week. So, as I said before, I do want to make sure that we celebrate also our elected officials. We have 2 board meetings this week, and so much goes into running the library, and our volunteer elected officials are essential to our operations. So while we're thanking our library staff and workers, I want to make sure that we're also celebrating the work of our trustees. So thank you for all that you do in advocating for our mission and our community and our goals. After tonight's meeting, the Kenilworth Public Library District is reconvening their business for their 5th meeting of the year. They get together on the 4th Thursday of the month for 6 months of the year. And this is their second to last meeting of this fiscal year. And we've just learned that one of our board members will have that board will have a premature vacancy and an unexpired seat at this meeting until their next election in April of '27. So at this meeting, the board has some business. They're going to be making an appointment to fill that vacancy. They're going to review their financials to date, and they're going to preview the draft budget for this next fiscal year and take a look back at some of the accomplishments of Kenilworth Public Library District this last year. A little bit of background, because whenever I talk to groups of people, they don't remember that there is a Kenilworth Public Library District and that it is in fact a district of its own. Kenilworth Public Library District's boundaries are the same boundaries as the Village of Kenilworth, and by contract, the Village of Kenilworth has contracted services from both Wilmette Public Library and Winnetka Public Library, Winnetka Northfield Public Library, for over the past 45 years. It is a wonderful arrangement that had its genesis here in our community. We were unable to annex the community of Kenilworth, but through a contract we were able to ensure that they still have services. And the foundation of that contract and the allocation of those services is based on the physical circulation of Kenilworth residents at the 2 servicing library districts. And that is how the apportionment of their funding is generated. So they are their own separate taxing body with 7 elected officials. They go through the same legal procedures that we do here. When we approve a budget, they approve a budget. When we pass an appropriation ordinance, they pass an appropriation ordinance. They have a levy. They have an audit. They have their own set of policies. And they have an administrator. And their administrator generally cycles from one of the two directors of the library district, but in the time that I've been here over the last 7 years, I've been the administrator of the Kenilworth Public Library District. But as we've seen in their last circulation summary, the allocation of funding from Kenilworth Public Library District typically tends towards Wilmette. So I guess it only makes sense that it should be us that's overseeing that. In the past 3 years, the allocations have gone as such, the distribution. So in 2023, the distribution of service was 59-41 in favor of Wilmette over Winnetka Northfield. In 2024, it shifted 70-30 in favor of Wilmette, and in 2025, it's now 71-29. So our Kenilworth residents are really finding a lot to use here at Wilmette Library. But that allocation is based on physical circulation data, and whenever I poll that group, the majority of the trustees in that room are all using digital resources at our libraries. And as you know, there are fees that are attached to all of our digital resources, and there is a cost per use on those, and we're not capitalizing on that cost. And that was a topic of discussion when we last approved our contract with Kenilworth back in 2023. And 28 will be the last year of this current contract. So as we move forward, I think we should be very careful in analyzing that and seeing if there's a way that we might want to lean a little bit more on updating that contract and the way that we distribute these fees. And maybe we can have our Kenilworth folks get to parity and maybe pay for their digital resources.
What's their opinion of that, on that subject? Because, I mean, they know that they're getting more than they pay for. And it's not that there's no cost to it, and there's not that we have unlimited costs, unlimited revenue. So I would hope, but you would know way more, that they would want to be in a situation that they cover what they use.
I do believe that there are feels towards that direction. When it comes down to the actual dollars and the levy, it's a little bit of a different story. We had this conversation a few years ago. We have new trustees now, and we'll have to see how we proceed with our negotiations on this going forward. We have been tracking the expenses specific to the digital usage. Back in '23, we issued new library cards to all of our Kenilworth residents. So Winnetka Northfield issued an entirely different library card to all of their Kenilworth card holders, and so did we here in Wilmette. And so that allowed us, with that bank of numbers, to know just what the digital usage is, because essentially a Kenilworth resident is holding a Wilmette Public Library card if they're using Wilmette Library. So it made it rather difficult for us to actually quantify, because there isn't a Kenilworth Public Library card. But for the last 3 years, we've been able to track those dollars, and they're real. The levy for Kenilworth is about $350,000. It's not that much. For Wilmette, it's $6.5 million. Now, granted, the population is significantly different, but when we brought up the topic of parity with the Kenilworth Board at that time, they thought that that was a false equivalency. They feel that they're contracting for service. They do not have a stake in the investment in this building, so when we make an investment in improving the use of this space, while they benefit from the updates that we apply to the building, they astutely point out that they do not own the building, that they're merely leasing access to it by contract on a regular basis. So they should not really truly have parity, because they're not actual stakeholders in their community, and that contract could lapse. So that kind of eroded a little bit of the notion of what parity meant. It is a library district without a building, without staff, without actual collections. They're contracting for service. But the point remains that they are using a service directly that they're not actually paying for directly by contract right now. So that is a topic that I believe that when we get closer to our contract term, at the end of 27 as we start negotiating that and going into 28, that this is a topic that we should bring forward again and see if it's due for update.
It'd be interesting to see how the fire handles it too. They also don't have a fire station or fire equipment, but I wonder what their Fire Protection District's opinion is on upgrades to Wilmette's fire protection equipment that they contract for. It's different when it's maybe different when your house is burning versus your book is burning.
Do residents choose then which library card they get?
They do. They've got a heck of a deal. They can choose between two really amazing libraries, and you can have multiple cards in a household, one with each library district. And as such, you can expand your access to those digital resources by doing that and leverage that.
And is the money that Kenilworth District pays to the Wilmette District and the Winnetka-Northfield District reflect the number of cardholders? Or is it?
It is based solely upon the physical circulation
Okay.
to those two libraries.
Does the Winnetka-Northfield District currently have a contract that reflects the digital services that Kenilworth residents are using?
We all operate under the same contract. But I do believe that Winnetka in the last conversation was motivated more strongly to lean on that, getting to parity with that group.
So that would affect their levy request then?
It certainly would.
And so this needs to be, I'm sorry, I said that affects their levy request for the fall. So this needs to be,
For their, if the contract were to change. So the contract that we have right now goes through 28, through June of 28. So we're operating under the same rules and guidelines that we have with this existing contract
until 28.
until June of 28. So, as I was saying, if we have any appetite to amend, update this agreement that we've had pretty much unchanged since the 80s, this would be an opportunity for us recognizing that the digital trending has been going up, that we should try to capitalize on that at that time. And give Kenilworth an opportunity to appeal to its community as well as to why it would need to make such a change, and to explore all the other opportunities that may be available to Kenilworth at that time. That board got really philosophical. We're going deep on this here today, but why not? That board really got philosophical about, well, you know, if we don't want to be in business with Wilmette, maybe Glenview wants to, you know, take us on or something like that if we don't like, you know, your agreement or what you guys are going to try to offer to us in the future. I'm like, well, you can try that. But the bottom line is that, you know, the way that this contract began was trying to extend service to a community to make sure that that community of 2,400 people have access to a public library, full stop, just offering that service. We welcome everyone, but we want you to have the same access. So I'd love to continue that. I would hate to leave Kenilworth out in the open. They actively use us, as is evidenced by these statistics. It just, the way that consumers are accessing content and using public libraries today is far different than it was in the 80s, and we need to update our contract to reflect that.
Yeah, we see in your report that there was a visit to Sears School, that they learned some research skills. So.
We've really ramped up our services and touch points with the Kenilworth community significantly in the last couple of years. We participate in their summer food truck Mondays regularly. We offer story times at their Park District facility. We do visits to Sears School a fair bit. They're right in there with all the other outreach activity that we do. And Winnetka-Northfield is doing the same. All right, well, anyway, we have a Kenilworth contract, and all this discussion of ebooks, I'm going to pivot and say that tomorrow we're making a presentation to our Rotary Club about ebooks. DMS manager Lauren Kelly and I are going to be presenting an overview of the library's digital resources to the Rotary Club of Wilmette. We'll be introducing the wealth of resources that we offer at our library across several platforms like Libby, Hoopla, and Canopy, including how easy it is to access and download those materials to your cell phone, tablets, readers, and Rokus alike. And we'll also take this opportunity to share more information about how the library offers this resources and the challenges that we have in trying to meet the demand for them. As we've been discussing at a number of previous meetings with support from Rails and ILA, our library recently joined scores of other libraries around the state in advocating for legislation to protect libraries and taxpayers from the extraordinary disparity in pricing for e-materials that libraries have versus consumers. And we've talked about this at a previous board meeting as well, that sometimes library materials can cost 4 times as much as what a consumer would pay for the same item, and that they place further restrictions on how many times we can circulate it and what those terms are. Staff shared infographics on our social media channels about this topic, as well as a blog post on our website about it. It's on our front page right now, and the title of that post is called Why Wait? I would say that that content is evergreen. It's not just relevant today. So we're going to keep that blog post up where folks can take a look at it. I am happy to report today that in the last 3 days, we've seen some action at the state level on the House bill that we've been discussing. House Bill 5236, also known as the Digital Library Protection Act, recently passed the House, so one of its first major measures, and it did so in ceremonious fashion. That act passed 99-0.
Oh, wow.
That's right, 99 yes votes in support of the Digital Library Protection Act. There was 0 opposition. It's a bipartisan bill that brought both sides of the aisle together, recognizing that we need to protect libraries from price gouging from publishers, and now that bill is going to be heading to the Senate for their review. And I imagine when that reaches the governor's desk, it should pass, and we should hopefully see some relief here in the future. So we're very excited about our progress there. All right, what else is happening this week? Also tomorrow, first thing in the morning, we're going to have a visit by the Baker Demonstration School. Their 6th grade class is coming to the library, and they're going to be learning about sustainability. As you know, sustainability is one of the hallmarks of our strategic plan and our general operating values and principles. So multiple staff across the library are going to be demonstrating the ways in which sustainability benefits not only our organization, our financials, but also how we support the environment and make smarter decisions. Couple things related to sustainability this week in Earth Week, Earth Month. It's Earth Day every day. This week, we restored a number of our all-native plantings around the library grounds. If you've taken a tour of our grounds, after the rains that we've had recently, we're seeing a lot of new growth, and there should be some new flowers this summer as a result of some improvements that we've made with those plantings. The village had also updated a few of the parkway trees in the last year or so, and they planted a redbud right at the entrance of the library parking lot. There's a berm right there between the entry and exit, and the redbud is in bloom right now, and it's gorgeous. Check it out. So speaking of trees, this Friday, there's a theme to this whole thing. It all flows.
It could have come around in full circle, right.
Arbor Day is Friday the 24th, and in celebration of Arbor Day, the Village Park District and Library will be distributing free tree seedlings, including redwoods, white oaks, and tulip poplars. They're all native plants for your native habitat in your home garden. This is the 3rd year that we've had this annual partnership, and it's becoming a really popular community event. So we encourage you to come early before the seedlings are gone, because they do run out. They're very popular. We also we have a village forester as well as staff from the park district who are on site when we distribute the seedlings, so that you can answer or have any of your questions about trees answered at that time. The park district is going to be sharing more information about their tree management plan, and this particular event is sponsored by the National Wildlife Federation's Tree for Wildlife program. And Go Green is getting in on the action as well. They're going to be here and offer a complimentary tree walk after the Arbor Day event from 4 to 5 p.m. And that, if you're wanting to participate in that, just meet at the library entrance and they will take you around the area. Speaking of Go Green, the following day, Saturday, April 25th, from 1 to 3 p.m. at Wilmette Theater, we encourage you to join the village, the library, and Wilmette Theater and Go Green for a short film festival in celebration of Earth Day on April 25th. We have a 2-hour mini festival that will feature 10 to 12 short films about climate change and how it affects our planet and our lives. There's a mix of drama, documentary, animation, and humor, and the films share personal stories and offer inspiration. The honorary judge of those films, Bill McKibben, has some recorded commentary at the beginning, and Ed Norton is going to be introducing all of the films, although not in person, on film. So check out the Climate Future Film Festival this Saturday at Wilmette Theater from 1 to 3. Speaking of Wilmette Theater, I've just learned that on Tuesday, April 28th, next week, Wilmette Theater is going to be presenting the documentary The Librarians. This is the first screening of The Librarians in the Wilmette community that we're aware of. And we've just become aware of this, so I don't have any further details about it right now, but go to Wilmette Theater's website to learn more. If you haven't already seen this documentary, it is a really powerful picture of what the role of librarians and libraries are in our communities, and particularly in public schools. All right. Back to sustainability for just one more moment or two. The village is advertising their compost drop-off program. They've partnered with Waste Not to provide these 96-gallon bins at various places around the community where folks who are not participating in municipal compost or are not using a compost service at home can try composting. And so I want to remind you that there are 5 convenient drop-off locations throughout the community. If you go to the village's website, wilmette.gov/compostdrop, you can learn more about where you can access them. And I wanted to let you know that this summer, in support of our sustainable library initiatives, we will be launching a participation with this program as well, and there will be a drop-off site near the landfill and recycling containers at the library's entry plaza on Park Avenue, right next to where the bus stops on Park Avenue. So you can learn more about this program on the village's website, as I said, and we're excited to be able to start kicking off our composting program at the library here this summer.
Nice.
And I guess the last thing I wanted to share with you all is that we're promoting this National Library Week and Earth Day Week. That there are so many resources that you can access through the Explore More Illinois and Museum Adventure Pass program that will get you outside and enjoying exploring phenology and seeing the changing of the seasons. There's a post on our website that will take you there, but just notably I want to mention on the Explore More page, you can get discounted or free access to the Chicago Academy of Sciences, the Peggy Notebart Nature Museum, in Rockford, the Anderson Japanese Gardens, and in Rock Island, the Quad City Botanic Center. And through the Museum Adventure Pass, you can gain access to the Gitchigamen Indigenous Nations Museum, the Chicago Botanic Garden, the Cernan Earth and Space Center at Triton College in River Grove, in Brookfield, the Chicago Zoological Society, the Brookfield Zoo, and in Wheaton, Cantini Park. Lots of wonderful things to do outdoors to appreciate nature. All right, the last point I want to make to wrap up my report is just some quick stats about what we did here in March. The library saw about 23,000 visitors in March, averaging 740 unique users each day. We welcomed 151 new cardholders in March, including 70-plus new student cards from District 39. Our physical circulation checkouts rebounded back into the 50,000 circulation range this month. And for the month of March, we added 1,500 new items and we withdrew 1,600 items. And also this March, we saw Overdrive hit a new record high. So back to ebooks for a second. Our Overdrive circulation had a record again of 21,153 checkouts. We have been seeing crazy growth this year. And also on Hoopla and Canopy, we had very high usage with near record monthly checkouts there as well. So high use of digital resources. Lastly, I'll just add a couple things that are coming up. In CCS, our Cooperative Computer Services Consortium, which is our library catalog, we are part of a partner program to launch a new notice service. We have more colorful, more informative communications that are going to be coming out about your library holds, overdue notices and whatnot. So check your email. You're going to see some new notices coming soon. And then the last thing I wanted to mention, and this we'll talk more about next month when we summarize April, is I want to thank the board and our community for allowing the library to close on Friday, April 10th. We had our annual staff development that day, and we had nearly 90% of our team attend the full day. So it was a really successful event for us, and we really appreciate the opportunity to continue to offer that day for our team. All right, that's my long-winded summary of what's going on around the library this week and last month. Is there anything from my report that you have any questions about or any comments?
Well, in light of sustainability and reuse, repurpose, so to speak, I hope everyone has noticed that the furniture has been recovered. And so we didn't just toss out the old. We took time, Anthony and staff took time and picked out some dazzling new fabric, and I commend you and staff. It looks great and really freshened things up all over, up and every floor.
Yep.
So
So
beautiful.
on the second floor, you'll see some reupholstered furnishings and youth services. There's some lovely red vinyl furnishings there. On the first floor, in the fiction area, in the media room, the banquettes, and around the recent arrivals area, you'll find some reupholstered easy chairs in there.
I think it looks great.
Thank you.
And your essay, so to speak, as you started, I thought was lovely. And I hope that maybe we can share that maybe in a newsletter coming up. I think everyone would agree that we all have memories, and the library means so much. We're all here. We give our time, energy, our staff, our teams. League of Women Voters are here. And I think everyone has a story to tell about a library. And I must say that when I travel, and I think a lot of other trustees, I always try to go to the local library, and it's a treat. It's a real treasure to see all over the world. So I encourage everyone to do that. A museum is wonderful, a garden, but the local library, you just can't imagine what a wonderful world all over the world. So, thank you.
And I would also just add that The Librarians is an excellent documentary and would strongly recommend people to watch. It was very good when I saw it on PBS.
Oh,
Thank you.
Yes, libraries are very important.
terrific. All right, thank you
Okay,
so much.
thank you.
Committee reports now, and Trustee Senate and Director Austin, if you have a brief report for us,
Okay,
please.
so the next Rails meeting is this Friday, at the April meeting. It will actually be at the Founders Memorial Library on the Northern Illinois University campus. And prior to the meeting, there's a tour of the library and a networking lunch, and all library staff from all the libraries are invited. Rails just launched what's called Rails Academy, which is free, on-demand training modules for staff at all Rails member libraries. So it's a new online learning platform. It's free. It's all kinds of topics. I haven't taken a close look at it because I don't think I can. But looks like there's just a variety of topics, and I'm sure that there are ways to request new topics also. So that's actually pretty exciting. On the legislation, Director Austin already covered the Digital Library Protection Act. The other one that is of note is HB 4261, which would increase the annual grants for public libraries, school library grants, and the library system. Rails is one of the 3 library systems in Illinois. And if it passes, and it's already passed the House, it's moving to the Senate. If it passes, it would go into effect immediately. And Rails just issued its annual report. I was going to print it off, but it turns out you can't. It is fully digital. But I just picked up a couple kind of high points for it. Delivery, Rails delivered 8.2 million items, and the Rails vans drove 1.1 million miles. And there were 43,000 reservations through Explore More Illinois. And another accomplishment for Find More Illinois, which is the ability to go outside of CCS, launched just this past year. It's a lender-only program for academic libraries. So it is the ability to see some university resources, and the Rails people are working on expanding that even more. And the last thing is the ALA annual conference is in Chicago this year again, is June 25th to the 29th, and the $40 exhibit-only guest passes are available through the Rails exhibitor portal. So some of the items are ticketed. There's some big speakers, but there are passes just to get into the exhibits, and the non-ticketed items. That's all I have.
Thank you so much. Director Austin, anything that you'd like to add?
Nothing, maybe nothing to add, but I have a question.
Yes.
Trustee Senate, that second House bill that you mentioned about increasing grants,
Yes.
does that include increasing the per capita grant?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a formula. If you go to, I can pull it up if you want. There is a formula for what it will be. I have heard it's 20% increase, but I can, I was looking at it earlier. It's based on a combination of the number of residents based on the most recent census and the square mileage of the,
So you think we'd see an increase to our, it's
we should,
Yeah,
yes.
then
sizable.
This would be the first increase that we've seen to the per capita grant in decades.
Yes, it is, it's considered inflation because of inflation. Okay, so,
And currently, it's about $41,000 for Wilmette and about $3,200 for Kenilworth. So, that,
Trustee Senate,
there's
that's
a
okay.
lot of
If you,
math involved.
yeah, that's
it's
okay.
all good, but good to
We're
know
gonna
that we're
move
seeing
along.
some
Thank you.
progress
But it is
there.
in the bill.
Thank you.
Great, we'll
Okay.
consider that with the budget.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's
Good.
good to know.
Thank you. Thanks so much. We'll now move on to our information items, and we have our communications from our suggestion box. I will pass that around. And we do have a trustee finance committee meeting, meet on Monday, May 11th at 4 p.m. in the small conference room next door. The meeting will discuss the draft budget for fiscal year 26-27, and that time period is July 1st of 26 to June 30th of 27. Their committee members, we have Trustee Biederman as our chair, Trustee Cox, Trustee Fishman, myself, and Trustee Mullman. But all trustees are encouraged to attend. So that is upcoming. New business? All right. Now we, at this meeting, annual meeting, April meeting, we now will go into a closed meeting to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees in compliance with 5 ILCS 120/2C1 of the Illinois Open Meetings Act. So it goes like this. We're going to close this meeting, and trustees will move to our closed meeting where we will open that meeting, have our discussion, then close that meeting, correct? Okay. We will come back here to the auditorium. We will open our meeting, and we will present our findings. So may we have a motion to close this meeting, and we will reconvene after our closed meeting next door. Is there a
I-
motion? Yes?
I move that the board go into a closed meeting to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees in compliance with 5 ILCS 120/2C1 of the Illinois Open Meetings Act.
Thank you, trustee Senate. Do I need a second on that? Yes,
Mhm.
and may I have a second, please?
I second.
All right, second by trustee Cox. All right. Thank you. May we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Trustee Biederman?
Yes.
Trustee Cox, yes. Trustee DiLorenzo is absent. Trustee Mulman?
Yes.
Trustee Pasco?
Yes.
Trustee Senate?
Yes.
And Trustee Fishman?
Yes, thank you. We will now note the time as 7:19. And this meeting, regular meeting, will now be closed. And we will reconvene whenever, because we don't really know how long that we will be in our closed session. And we will reconvene at a later time. Thank you. And we are going to, oh,
You're on.
yes, I'm on. Okay, thank you. And I will now reconvene our open meeting and give a summary of our closed session. So may I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Trustee Biederman?
Here.
Trustee Cox is here. Trustee DiLorenzo is absent. Trustee Mulman?
Here.
Trustee Pasco?
Here.
Trustee Senate?
Here.
And Trustee Fishman?
Here. Thank you. One moment. All right. Now, in compliance with the Illinois Open Meetings Act, the Board of Trustees in the closed meeting built consensus to recommend that we are delighted that Director Austin is our director, and we highly approve of his performance. We now will have his pay level at 3.5%, as was designated back in retroactive, I should say, as of July 1st, 25, which was the beginning of our fiscal meeting. And that brings his total compensation to $167,380. And that is retroactive as of July 1st, and at 3% as the rest of the staff received back in July, beginning of our fiscal year. And we now need also a motion to accept the recommendation of the Board of Trustees. May I have a motion to accept this recommendation?
So 3.5%.
Thank you.
Yep.
Trustee Mulman, and is there a second, please?
Okay.
I second the motion to increase the compensation to what was pre-stated.
The 3.5%.
Yes.
Thank you. May we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Trustee Biederman?
Yes.
Trustee Cox, yes. Trustee DiLorenzo is absent. Trustee Mulman?
Yes.
Trustee Pasco?
Yes.
Trustee Senate?
Yes.
And Trustee Fishman?
Yes, thank you. That motion approved to accept the recommendation of our closed meeting by the Board of Trustees. And now we will adjourn, and it is now 9:03. And may we have a motion, and a voice vote is acceptable. Or I should just say, I move to the board to adjourn this meeting. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Aye, yes?
Yes.
Thank you. 9 o'clock, and we will be adjourned.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.